We want people to cater to us, but we don't want to cater to others.
But then we still want to be catered to.
Yeah.
Even in our travels.
The American way, the culture.
And I'll kind of jump in here. We were at our first stop in Costa Maya, Mexico, and I was speaking Mexican to a guy.
Most people Spanish, but it's fine. We call it Mexican. We call it Mexican. She was speaking Spanish to him.
I was speaking Spanish.
We're coming from a remote destination, pretty much in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the ocean. I was having some devotional time in the morning, and it came up to me. God shared specifically about taking our eyes off ourselves. I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but as we've been traveling into other countries, that has really become prevalent.
He wasn't just serving us our dinner, he was serving us as human beings.
Where can you find those servant people around you? Encouraging others, loving others. Where can you find that? Because if you look for it, you'll find it. If you choose to not look for it, it's not going to be there. Welcome back to another episode of Crazy Unbelievable Faith. I am your co-host, Brian Owen, alongside my wife, Kersha.
Hi.
And we're coming from a remote destination, pretty much in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the ocean. So very fortunate. We've been very blessed to get away and spend some time with my parents and take our kids on a nice adventure.
There's been a lot of adventures.
It's been an adventure. Some people try to abide by the rules, and then others try to break the rules. And the whole passport thing, and we couldn't get on the ship and things like that.
I was like, I wasn't a rule breaker.
She could catch me yesterday when I was at the pool with the kids. We couldn't get a hold of you. Of course, I don't have my phone in the pool. I was like, okay. And she's standing obviously in front of me. We couldn't get on the ship. Had to contact Jacelyn. I was like, you're here. And the guy I had been talking to was like about to freak out.
Freaked out, for sure.
He's like, I don't know. This is kind of a scary situation. So
Brian did tell him that that's just his spicy wife's personality. That's all.
True. Yeah. So, but yes, we're coming to you from a remote location. And if you're not already actively following and subscribing us, please do so. If you find something that is beneficial, meaningful out of this episode that would impact someone else, please forward it along. That's how our community grows and continues to grow and be impacted. So I know we've had a lot of text messages and responses that have come from the last few episodes that have dropped over the last several weeks. Just the impact that people have felt and received from it. So I'm so thankful, so blessed for all of you that have been tuning in and listening and watching, for sure. Watching the video, if you're just listening to it, you're missing a lot of the subtle things that happen as we're recording these things.
Subtle or not so subtle?
They're not so subtle too. So, but as we've been doing this travel, it's really kind of come up. I was having some devotional time in the morning, and it came up to me. God shared specifically about taking our eyes off ourselves. I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past. But as we've been traveling into other countries, that has really become prevalent in conversations that we've had, or just as you're in community with other people, whereas people will come to the United States and we expect people to understand English and to be able to communicate in English. But yet when we go to another country, Central America, South America country, and we still expect to be able to speak English the whole time, but their country, Spanish is their native language, or maybe it's a different form of different language for sure, and we're not willing to learn their language,
right?
So it's like we want people to cater to us, but we don't want to cater to others.
But then we still want to be catered to.
Yeah,
even in our travels.
The American way, the culture.
And I'll kind of jump in here. We were at our first stop in Costa Maya, Mexico, and I was speaking Mexican to a guy.
Most people Spanish, but it's fine. We call it Mexican. We call it Mexican. She was speaking Spanish to him.
I was speaking Spanish to this Mexican. He was in the shop, and he stopped me and he thanked me because the children were also saying gracias and de nada and por favor, all of this stuff. But he stopped me and he went on to compliment us in his native tongue, which I was able to understand what it was that he was saying. And he said, "You have a beautiful family. Thank you so much for teaching your children how to customize to other native languages and to be respectful and mannerful." And he just really appreciated that. And we didn't buy anything from him at that time. We decided we would go out and go snorkeling, and then we would come in and we would do our shopping after we were done snorkeling. And so when we came back, he greeted us with a warm smile. And yes, he had been waiting for us. He really wanted to make a good deal.
Well, for real, he wasn't going anywhere.
He wasn't going anywhere. But
where he kind of pegged her.
Yeah, he really did. But he was just so very kind. I think he was more apt to make good deals because we were kind to him as well. And so that's something that we were able to talk to our children about and teach our children of how you can move into other cultures and not have your eyes so fixed on yourself. You need to be able to ask for essentials inside that culture. And this conversation came up in Honduras too when we were there with Tyler. He
actually Roatan. Rotan's where we went to.
Yeah. Well, Honduras is the country. Yeah. But so we were in there with him, and I just was saying, we can't always just expect others to come to us. We need to be willing to go the 90% all the time. All the time. And sometimes there are times where people need to come 90% to us when we're in need. But if we are out serving others and loving on others, then they feel our energy and our presence. And that is important for our children to learn.
Yeah. No, it's you brought up, we went snorkeling. That in itself is a whole another story to talk about. And
the joy of it or the beginning?
Yeah, well, yeah. The first world struggles that another thing that we had to explain to our children is that it's the first world struggles. You're very blessed. We're very fortunate to be where we are, what we're doing, because not everybody gets that experience.
Right.
And there are people, back from my teaching days to, just working with colleagues that some have never left the United States, some have never left their state or even their city. And so explaining to our kids that, being grateful, being appreciative. But one of our children literally, I think, had a freak out meltdown moment. And it's like, okay, the rest of us are out, the little scuba instructor guy's out in the water and doing his thing. And it was just like, okay, there's others in this party. We can't just all wait for one person. And so we all kind of started going. And I mean, she came around.
Basically,
after a while, she just stuck to the life raft. And
she was stuck to me. She Velcroed herself to me. Yeah. And this poor guy, Lord love him, bless him. Nito is his name. And he had this life raft.
Life ring. Yeah,
a life ring that had this thin little rope all the way around it. And he had the big long piece of the rope. And he hauled all five of our children around
basically
on this life raft.
Jacelyn was out.
Jacelyn grabbed a hold of Kinley's leg.
Oh my gosh.
He was hauling.
So basically, Kersha and I were the ones snorkeling, and the others were just holding for dear life.
Jace was holding on, but she was snorkeling.
Yeah, maybe that's an episode about holding on for life. But yeah. But
right?
but even the taking he was guiding us, and even through the commotion at the beginning, because it was something different. Again, our kids, we don't live by the ocean, so being in the ocean, they have all these ideas of
She said that we were sending her down to the bottom of the ocean with only this little tube to breathe out of. It's like you're going to stay at the top.
I've done scuba diving.
That's called scuba.
Yeah, I would
not snorkel.
I couldn't wrangle those to do scuba diving; they'd have a heart attack. But the instructor, snorkeling instructor, was very patient. Was very kind to us, and very much so catered to us.
Yeah.
And I think that was the example again, that our kids, it was reminding them of people are catering us. Like, yes, you're paying for the excursion. Yes, we're taking care of their economy, and we want to be able to do that. And we're blessed to be able to. But he took specific care of comforting our kids, encouraging them, and halfway, 3/4 of the way through, then it switched from I'm freaking out and I'm enjoying, they were enjoying it too. Can we go back to the boat? Is the hour over yet or whatever? It's like, oh my gosh.
I'm freezing.
Yeah, I'm cold. I was like, man.
I am the most cold person in our household. Okay. I was not cold.
No.
It was a beautiful day.
Oh, yeah.
It was full of, we got to see this massive lobster at the bottom.
Saw stingray.
Yeah.
We didn't see turtles.
Well,
there were some turtles.
So Nito said that where the turtles kind of hang out there were a lot of little groups over there, and he didn't want to lead us all the way over there.
But the cool part was, as we broke off into small groups, we kind of had a small private tour. It was basically our own tour because no one else had signed up to go with us at that time. But there were big groups of cruise ships that had come in and massive amounts of people. And it was just nice to have kind of, basically a private tour, private snorkeling tour, but being able to learn about the history of the island.
Mm-hmm.
And, the hurricanes that have destroyed and how they've rebuilt, he moved from Mexico City.
Out to Costa Maya.
But again, I think kind of going back to where we took you and I feel like we try to be good examples for our kids, but you want to learn about their culture. You want to learn about them. And you could tell it makes them happier or I don't know. They enjoy
they feel more appreciative.
Yeah.
They don't treat you like you are just some run-of-the-mill tourists.
Yeah.
They really treat you like you care about them, and so they care about you back.
Yeah.
And that's something that we really try to instill in our children. You're not designed to have effort and energy for everyone, but you are designed to have a positive impact on everyone. And I think that is important for our children to, as soon as they leave the room in the morning, they wake up with a good attitude, they treat people well, they're kind. And if you have a bad attitude in our household, you go back to bed.
And it doesn't always happen. They don't always wake up perfectly.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
sometimes mom and dad don't wake up perfectly either.
Right. And we send each other back to bed.
Yeah, exactly. But I think there was a verse. It was there's Matthew. There's a couple of verses.
But there's one thing. So kind of leading into taking our eyes off of ourselves and going into, the small little sermon we wanted to give today was we live in a culture trained to focus inward, but Scripture calls us to look outward. Okay. Hebrews 12:12 says to fix our eyes on Jesus. And so to kind of bring that into perspective of what we were just talking about in those stories is we had our eyes fixed on the culture that we were in. And it was really important to teach our children how to interact in that culture, how to go the 90% so that they would come the 90% back in return. And the more that we used our manners and the more polite we were and the calmer we were and just more joyful, the more they were joyful. And
you see the number of people when you travel that
they want all the attention on them.
Well, they want all the attention, or they're just so focused on I got to get from point A to point B to point C that they don't have their head up to even see what's around them.
Yeah.
To take in the beauty of where they are, the people that they see, that they're around. But I also feel, and this has been said before from mentors of ours, but to truly learn a language is to go immerse yourself in the culture.
Right.
And in the 3 or 4 days being in Central America and parts of Mexico, like that 3 or 4 days, like you could pick up on Spanish or just the way you naturally say things at home. You start to pick up some of their dialect a little bit, if you're in tune to it. And I think that's where, again, being respectful, being appreciative of being in those areas, definitely, again, taking your eyes off yourself and immersing yourself in that culture helps. But it was neat to see even our kids pick up some of that, just being in that area. So I think that's a very true statement, that to truly learn a language, yes, you can sit in class all day long or listen to Rosetta Stone or whatever all day long, but to go live in a culture and immerse yourself in it, something totally different.
Yeah, that reminds me of what Tyler had said the other day. He said that someone explained to him the difference between in and on.
Yeah.
And he speaks English.
Are you in the beach or on the beach?
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah.
We're on the beach.
So we had a whole learning lesson driving in the rain in Roatan. Yeah, that was the monkey day.
Oh God.
And we're going to have, so we'll have to, yeah, hopefully those that are following us, like these are going to be, when you subscribe, you get some of these pictures and images and oh my gosh, there's some hilarious photos that happen. So.
There's this one picture of our son Corbin. So in the sanctuary that Tyler took us to, gosh, that guy, he was just so gracious. He picked us up at port. He drove our whole family around for the entire day, showing us different parts of the city, talking to us about the culture, and he spoke very fluent English. So I was a little shocked that he didn't know the difference between in or on, but I found some humor in that. And then he took us back to port and checked in on us, in the different stops to make sure that we were doing okay. And I just felt really loved and cared for. And one thing that I can't admit, I was a little anxious dragging my 5 children out into another culture and into another country where I'm the only one that can understand Spanish and or speak enough of it to get us by. And so the kids, he and the kids did great, but I was nervous.
And the kids. Wait, what, was I just going to walk off a cliff somewhere?
No, but
I can handle myself, but it's fine. Obviously, I'm one of the kids.
Donde está?
Huh? Donde está? Whatever. Show me, point me. I don't know. Something like that. Where is something? Donde está el baño? Where's the bathroom? See? I learned some Spanish.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Totally fine.
Oh my God.
But back to you were talking about Hebrew, but there was a Matthew 7, I think it was. If you swipe up, it's on my. No, hang on a second. It's right here. What is that one? Matthew 7, 3-5, where he's talking about taking the plank out.
Why do you look at the speck of dust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Yeah. Hypocrite. First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye.
Yeah. So, and again, back to Tyler, I think, again, another example of just being very blessed by great connections with people in different countries, but definitely catering to us. He wasn't judging us. He wasn't, because yes, when you're traveling with your kids, they're going to get tired. They're going to whine. They're going to complain. Our kids did a pretty good job of not doing most of that because, again, we had kind of the household conversation of we're going to be appreciative. We're going to, be thankful for what we have because people don't get to experience this. But there are those hiccups still. But he was so gracious and so kind. And I think that's where we're quick to say, oh, well, they're from that country. No, we judge them for this or we judge them for that. But it's like, in all honesty, look at all the faults that we have or the mistakes that we make. No one is perfect. And I think that was just...
Brian said at lunch today that he was really thankful for being on this cruise and seeing other families have the same issues that we have.
Yeah, it normalizes things. Good ways and bad ways, I guess. I don't know, but but yeah, no, it's yeah. But I think it's, again, I just think that there are times that we become very comfortable in our daily routine, and if you don't break away from that and you don't take your eyes off and start thinking about other things, then it's kind of like we just always stay in this hamster gerbil wheel, whatever we want to call it. I think of like, what was the bear analogy? Like the bear was chained and they'd set his food so many feet away. And we'd walk to the end of the chain.
I did not know where you were going with the bear.
We'd walk to the end of the chain.
That's fine.
And he just conditioned his mind. And they unchained the bear and moved the bowl, 3 feet further. Yeah. And the bear would only go as far and stop. Even though the food was still there, he wouldn't continue on because he just conditioned his mind. And I think that's where we all sometimes can get, if we're very complacent, if we're a fixed mindset, if we're not in that growing, thinking of others mindset, which again, I encourage you, to listen to some of our other podcasts, our episodes, to get out.
This is a really good point to go with that bear analogy. Freedom and purpose.
Well, you didn't know where I was going with it, but that's okay. Now you found something benefit. Okay. I am worth something on this episode. This is good. Go ahead. Keep going.
Have you felt belittled? Because you don't know Spanish as well.
It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Freedom and purpose grow.
Is bonjour? Oh wait, that's French.
Isn't that what G-Pip?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's
what foreign language?
Pretty girls in school took it when I was there, so that's why I took French. It's okay.
He's never shared that with me before. But
okay. Long time ago.
Okay, freedom and purpose grow when our focus shifts from self to Christ and others.
Okay.
So that bear, he needed to focus on his freedom.
Okay.
Not on his condition.
Okay. That's true. Looking beyond himself. I'm with you. Good. Tracking. I'm tracking with you.
Wow.
What else have you got, Rhonda? Any other things?
Self-focus promises peace, but delivers anxiety.
Oh, some of you have a little anxiety about traveling with your 5 kids and your husband, apparently. The secret came out in this episode.
It wasn't really you.
It's okay. Oh, you did throw me in there, but it's fine.
Well, I just felt like I was carrying weight of the language.
Let's keep moving.
I mean,
it's fine. We'll edit this out. It's fine. Maybe. I don't know. If I forget to.
Oh my gosh.
But again, was there any other verses that popped up?
Yeah. Well, one thing, a good way to kind of bring us into a close here is Jesus's invitation is to look up, not in. And he constantly redirects his attention to the Father's will. And identity comes from obedience, not introspection.
Okay.
Which is big. Which is one thing that we're trying to, I would say we're really in a really big season, especially with Kinley, of not having everything be so internal, but allowing things to pass through her mind, not have to come out and get stuck on it.
Yeah.
And allowing herself to just focus on God and allowing God to help her work through her mental mindset. When you're in puberty, you kind of get stuck in this loophole a little bit of constantly thinking about the same handful of things. And
I wouldn't say it's just puberty. I think there's people who get stuck in that all their life.
Oh,
I mean, in all honesty.
True. But it starts in puberty.
Correct.
Some people just don't mature beyond that.
Yes. Yeah. But no one's there to coach them through it.
Right.
I think.
And so that's one thing that we're working to coach Kinley through immensely right now is how do you think beyond yourself?
Well, and we're coming into the holiday season too.
Yeah.
We've gone through Thanksgiving. Christmas is just around the bend. So this whole taking your eyes off yourself is huge.
Because this is their Christmas gift.
And we've had conversations, that's a whole nother episode there about Christmas and the true meaning of it. But yes, it's the true meaning of the holiday, true meaning of Christmas. Obviously, it's celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ for us specifically as Christians. But second, it's about just giving to others. It's taking your eyes and serving others, taking your eyes off yourself. And so I think that's where this is all fitting, especially as we're coming into the holidays, like reminding yourself of that when you're in those close quarters with your family. I mean, we've been in a cabin with our kids. I mean, yeah, it's first world problems. Here I am. But like, we had this talk like the second day, maybe. I don't know. It was like,
it was the first night.
First night, I was like, oh, this is going to be crazy. But it's, you learn to adapt And I have friends of ours that they RV all over, they have, 30, 40 foot trailers that they live in, and they can do that. So it's like, it's doable. People can survive it. And we have as well. You adapt, you figure out ways. But as we're in those close quarters, tempers can flare, anxieties come up, or, they did this, you just start to fixate on things. Like you're saying, we're always looking inward at us. It's like you said, how do we serve others? How do we love on other people? And I hope and I pray that those that are listening and watching this, that this was impactful, and that there's a piece that you can take from this during the holiday season. Just take your eyes off yourself and go say hi to somebody. Just to encourage someone. Just learn about other people.
This is a really good story about something that just happened last night to kind of bring this into perspective. We were at a steakhouse here on the cruise ship, and the children were sitting at one end and then us 4 adults at the other end. We have Brian's parents with us. And just for clarification, this is an honorary trip for Brian's grandpa. We chose to spend our inheritance money and do something that would honor him. And he just absolutely loved cruises. And so we chose to do this and honor him and have some experiences that come with the inheritance money. And so that's a familial choice that we made. But so we're at dinner last night, and our sweet waiter, Aldrin's his name, he went around and cut up everybody's steak.
Yeah.
I mean, minus Jacelyn.
Mm-hmm.
And Faith. Faith ate chicken instead of steak. But Corbin chose to fall asleep. So he crawls on my lap. So now I have a child, a 6-year-old, sitting between me and my steak. And so he cut up mine, and he
did say, I won't feed you the first bite. He gave me that fork, and I got ready to eat it, and I was like, just kidding, and I gave it to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just the fact of the matter is that, like, he literally, and I haven't experienced one person on this cruise ship that hasn't had us as the forefront of their importance. But his serving us last night, like, he wasn't just serving us our dinner, he was serving us as human beings and trying to be as helpful and generous with his time and his effort as possible.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like that's a really good example. And I thanked his manager for that. I was like, he made this experience way better than I could have ever imagined. And we saw him today at lunch, and he was like, do you need me to cut up your steak again? Now it's just this running joke. Yeah. But
there's been nice restaurants we've been fortunate enough to go to all over the United States. I mean, different places that we've been in. And it's just interesting, like, to the point you made, on a cruise line, the focus is hyper-focused on the guest and making sure the guest's experience is above and beyond. I think the only other place we've really experienced that was when we were with the John Maxwell event in Puerto Rico. Would be comparable to that, where it was like catered to us in that way. But how
do you serve others and serve them well?
Yeah, but it was just eye-opening. Like the level that we've seen here on this cruise has been amazing, and it's been a great example for for us, but for our children to be able to see it too.
Well, and for our children to see that mom and dad our response to that is, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, I would have done that when I was waiting tables, but I don't think everybody else would have.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But just that experience, now they get to, like, gosh, I remember this one steakhouse I went to. This guy cut up my food for me, and he was so nice, and my mom was just awed by that,
Yeah. And it's just, like you said, it's memories, it's experiences that, again, kind of in remembrance of Papa Ben and just his legacy and how it's living on in our kids and in us, but being able to make those memories with them. They may not remember them so much right now, but 10 or 15, 20 years from now, I just pray that those are things that they latch onto, that they in turn turn around and pass on to their kids and to our grandkids, whatever at that point.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Well, thank you for tuning in. Anything else in closing from you?
No, I think that as long as
we
we
keep going. Oh, you said no. You can't say no and then add more.
Well, I can.
Do you have something in closing? Yes, I do. There we go.
I do.
There we go.
I think as long as we just continue to go through life with our eyes focused on others and serving others as best we can and giving them the benefit of the doubt, I think grace goes a long ways.
I would say in closing, in the next week or so.
Sorry, I didn't ask.
In the next week or so. In the next week or so. And a lot of things I was going to say. Man, a lot of things. In the next week or so, I challenge you, wherever you're at, if you're out to dinner, if you're out with family, just step back for a second and observe things. And where can you find those servant people around you? Encouraging others, loving others. Where can you find that? Because if you look for it, you'll find it. If you choose to not look for it, it's not going to be there.
And the challenge is, what can you do to be more servant-hearted?
There you go. So, until next time, thank you for tuning into an episode of Crazy Unbelievable Faith. We'll see you again soon.